What's up, YKTR Sports Nation? Welcome back into the Body Science Content Studio for a very special episode of the Sports Show. It's Week 19 preview time. I am joined, as always, by my OG triple, Willie Mason.
What's happening?
Producer Jackson. Lukey's in the background. Desi's here. Munster's here. The whole crew.
Kobe's here. He's looking over us.
And Mace, he's a man of his word. Paddy Carrigan, can you turn around, Mace?
Bet's a bet. Bet's a bet.
And you know what? Even though he rocked the 17, we got 13 because he started Game 3, the Wally Lewis medal. Let's address that straight away, Mace.
Yeah, he deserves it. I think because I honestly thought that he wasn't going to get 100 metres in Game 2.
Yeah.
He just got it.
Yeah.
And he deserves it. Like, he deserved the Wally Lewis medal. He played like an absolute beast. He belongs out in that arena. I never, ever bagged him about being a player. Get that straight, all you fans out there. I just thought our middles would have stood up, and they did in Game 2. And he only just got over 100, got 102, 103 metres. And, you know, and then like Game 1, 190, Game 3, 160 or something like that. Like, just the way that he played, he's built for that arena. Typical Queensland efforts. And, you know, he was either out of him and Kalen Ponga, but I never bagged that kid about being a player. And he knows that. It was just a bit of fun between us and the fans. And, yeah, I'm a man of my word, and I've got the... I don't look too bad.
Yeah, you look good. I was going to get the 3XL.
I've copped a fair bit. I went up to, so me and Willie Tonga for Tabcorp, we went up took a road trip from Sydney all the way to Suncorp, and I lost the bet again, so I had to wear a Queensland jersey in Newcastle. I'm a Newcastle boy. They just looked at me and just went, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I was
sitting people legit like come up to you going, "What are you doing?"
Legit, like, Willie, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you wearing that for? I said, it's just, you know, because we didn't have like you know, big cameras. It was all filmed on an iPhone, so people just thought I was just rolling through Newcastle with a Queensland jersey. So I was like, guys, it's a bet. You know, it's just like it's been on social media. You guys, they're the ones who voted.
Yeah,
Willie Tonga was what? He had to go swim in Merriweather bars.
He looked like he was furious. He had to jump in the water.
You think he was furious about getting that shirt off? Please. His arms are about 30 inches. Massive.
You know he's feeling himself when he's pouting the lips.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so cold.
Little tense of doom.
Yeah. I was just like, you suck. But yeah, it was a great trip. We stopped in Lismore. We checked out, you know, the flooding up there, which was terrible. They showed us a lot of footage. It was quite emotional. You know, a lot of people lost a lot of money and just ruined the whole place. But they've recovered really well. And I think in a couple of weeks, I told the owner of the Civic Hotel that, you know, when you do have your grand opening, because obviously everything is wrecked in all these pubs. They just started turning the taps on and all that kind of stuff. So I'll go up there, I think through Tab, we'll go up there and go to the grand opening and have a good time up there with the locals.
Awesome.
Then we went to Suncorp and we got beat, so that sucked.
Yeah, well, let's just, before we get on to the set of 6 that we've got before we start off on the preview, just, you know, yourself, you talked about it being a passionate fucking blue with regards to the Paddy Carrigan takes and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, off the back of what Joey said after the game.
Yeah, that was powerful what Joey said, man.
Yeah. So just from your end, like, you want to discuss a little bit about, you know.
I mean, like, Joey was just more disappointed. And I think that's probably been the most disappointed I've been after New South Wales lost for a long time. Yeah. For a long time, man. Because I just think we had that game. We did. We're in a position where we could have really we had the foot on the throat and we just didn't put it down. We didn't really just put it down, and then we made some real crucial mistakes coming out of yardage, and that's what pressure does.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of changes for next year. A couple of those kids who played in that game probably will never represent New South Wales again for another couple of years. Obviously with Latrell and Turbo and all those guys coming back, and you know, a couple of the forwards were out. You know, I think we missed Payne Haas in the middle, but you know, it was very disappointing from an ex-New South Wales player. And whatever Joey said, I feel exactly how he's feeling.
Yeah,
how he's feeling.
Is it more disappointing too because like you feel like it sucks losing to him up in Suncorp when you're on paper? A lot of people would say you probably New South Wales had the better
Munster,
team on paper.
You throw Dearden in there. Like I was like, before the game, I was like sort of hammering Dearden. I said, he can't, like, he won't be able to step up. He throws that ball. We missed that tackle. It's just like he played. You know, they put that jersey on. He was unreal. Dearden was unreal.
That's what I said.
He was amazing. He set plays up, like he was just
I didn't even think he was going to start for the Cowboys at the start of the year.
Exactly, he wasn't.
Let alone kill it in Origin.
Let alone get, they just have that capability of just getting that jersey on, and the culture that they've set in the last 15 years. You put that jersey on, there's an expectation on you to perform at the highest level. And that's what they've set. That's what they've set. You've got the JTs, you've got Billy Slaters and Cam Sus and GIs and Nate Miles and Sammy Thaidays all through that whole group. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've talked about it before, and they're setting. They're the guys who set that standard. So when you get a young Paddy Carrigan and a Ruben Cotter and a Dean coming through, like they are expected to play at a high level. Not these like rookies who have no idea. Like the standards are set, the culture's set in Queensland when they have that jersey, and then they play at Suncorp in game 3. I knew it was going to be a hard game, but I still thought once money was out, that was the X factor for those guys to get us. But when he was out, I'm like, come on, we're sort of like, we've got to get this pretty, not easily.
Yeah.
Even I thought we were going to be 13 plus. I thought we were going to get him, but like.
At the 30-minute mark, they looked like they were well in control. And I was like, watching the game going, fuck, this is a point of the game where Munster would turn it, but it's not going to happen because he's not here. And they still managed to do it with that little kick from Harry Grant, kick down to Capewell, and even Teddy come out after and said that broke their back. Yeah, it did. A couple of little things. I mean, even with Crichton coming out and, great run. Great run out of yardage, bang, bang. And then, tried that little flick, bang, repeat set. Pretty much, they got caught. Luckily, one of our guys got back and grounded it.
Crichton, I think.
Was it Crichton? Yeah, the Crichton. But like one of our, I think, the other, Angus Crichton jumped on it. So Crichton threw it, Angus jumped on it. Otherwise, that was a try. You know what I mean? And then the pressure, and that was at that time where you start getting fatigued. The fatigue factor. Kalen Ponga played outstanding. I thought he was the best on the ground. He was very lucky not to get the Wally Lewis medal. Yeah. But they were just great, man. Queensland, you've got to give credit to them. And it's just like, it's not a myth anymore, is it? When you keep doing it, it is what it is. Like, they're very hard to beat at Suncorp. That's why game 1 was so important for us. Because I think we could have went over and just swept them in Perth and just worried about game 3 and, can we sweep them or not? We have that sort of team. It's going to be on again next year, and it's going to be probably built up even more. It's just the way Origin is. It's like a soap opera. You couldn't write this. You could not write this script, what Queensland just did to us this year. It's unbelievable. Nothing but credit to Queensland, their coaching staff, all their players. Nothing but love. Nothing but respect. But we'll be back next year. I'm way more excited about next year than I was after last year's shellacking. Because I didn't see Queensland having a crack. What did we have? We put 90 points or something in the first two games. The first 2 games, and then they got the last one. No one really cared, and everyone thought Origin's dead, especially Queensland. It's dead, and then now this happens with a bunch of rookies get us, and then we've got Granted, we had Latrell out and we had Turbo. I don't think people understand how great a players they are. They dominated Queensland last year. Like they made Teddy look like he was just a normal player, and Teddy was outstanding. Do you know what I mean? So they're big, important players, but the confidence that Queensland will bring out of this is unbelievable because they know they got Suncorp in their back pocket.
Mace, can I just ask Scope? Sorry, the all the headlines coming out of the back of this has been all the Foxes of the world have been talking about how it just looks like Origin means more to Queensland players than it does to Blues players. You're obviously proud as punch every time you pulled that on. What do you make of that?
Paul Kent saying I don't know, word for word. What did he say? There was a number 6 for Queensland who meant everything to him. He was so passionate. And then the other number 6 for us is worried about playing for Samoa. Do you actually think that? PK? You got to be stupid to say something like that. That is so dumb. Everybody who's playing for Queensland or New South Wales out there at that moment at Suncorp, you're putting your heart, blood and soul into everything you do. You're not worried about the representative game, Samoa. Just because he said it during the week, you've got to be so stupid. I don't know why he says dumb shit like that. You know what I mean? Toto and all these guys, just because they want to play for Samoa in the World Cup, which is 4 months ahead, you think they're worried about, you think Dean is thinking, I've got more passion. What a stupid thing to say. It's just more clickbait bullshit from Fox Sports. I just can't cop that kind of crap because every single player that comes out for New South Wales puts exactly as much passion, sometimes more than Queensland. It only seems like we didn't put in that much passion because we got beat.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
well,
man.
After the game,
what if we got beat? What would you say, PK?
Well,
you know what I mean? What would you say?
That's my point, mate. So after the game, Josh Papali'i, Tino Fasul-Malawi and Jeremiah Nanai had a picture with the Samoan flag after the game. So it obviously means a lot to them that they're Samoan heritage.
They're proud.
So what? Like it can't be. You can't have it one way and not the other. Like if you're going to rip Jerome Luai and Brian Toto about potentially repping Samoa or being proud of their heritage, I don't know how you're not ripping just because it's the only difference is they won.
Because they won. You know,
they legit were holding the flag. Have you seen the picture?
I know, I saw the picture, and it's one of the dumbest comments I've seen. I just couldn't believe that he'd say something like that. The guy has more. How do you see that anyway? Just watching a game, going, Dearden has way more passion than Luai. No, he doesn't. You cannot see that. You don't know what's going through his head. It's the dumbest comment. I just don't understand why you would say that. He should know better than that. Like, he's a journalist, but he works for Fox Sports, and they just say stupid shit. So it was all over Fox Sports. It was all over every single media outlet, and I'm just like, that was pretty dumb, PK. I think PK's a decent bloke. He says some really stupid shit. Don't ever doubt anyone's passion about playing Origin, let alone New South Wales, Australia, or Samoa, Tonga, anything. You're playing a game of what we love and we're good at. You play with a lot of passion. You're passionate about New South Wales. You're passionate against Queensland. Don't ever say that they're more passionate than us just because you fucking won the game. That's bullshit.
I think Joey, Braith, McInnes, all the people that come out in the aftermath of that pretty much echoed that exact thing. They're going, trust us. It's just because we lost the game doesn't mean it means more to them than it does to us.
Never, and that's the whole thing. That's the whole Queensland spirit and all this sort of shit. Yeah, I get it, mate. They're a good team. They got us better than us on the night. Does not mean they're more passionate about it. You know who are more passionate? They're fans.
Yeah.
That's it. Their fans are more passionate than us. Because they're crazy little rednecks coming from fucking far north Queensland who fucking drive down for 3 days to come in there and just hammer New South Wales because they hate us so much. Understand the history of the game. We had their players since 1908 and they went, do you know what I mean? If you
still
understand history, they're still filthy about it.
Yeah.
We made Artie Beetson play for New South Wales. We made all their best players play for New South Wales. That's the history of the game. They have a lot. The players are equally passionate about playing. The fans have never forgotten. It's indoctrinated in them that we had their players for so many years. We made them play for New South Wales, but don't dare say that these guys are more passionate than us. It's embarrassing.
Lovely.
That's good. That's good. All right, set of six is a little bit different. Jacko, you want to roll us off on it? It's a bit of a mixed bag because so much shit's come out in the last couple of days.
Yeah, there's a lot more headlines, Mace, coming across footy, but we'll start with Ryan Pappenhausen. Obviously, Pappy fractured his kneecap off the back of the Storm, sort of going through a bit of a lull. Concerns for his future, I guess, and the Storm this year without him. What do you make of Pappy's injury?
Yeah, it sucks, man. That kid's got so much talent, been on the cusp of New South Wales for the last couple of years. You know, he'd always be in their squad, but you got Teddy there. You know, you got a fair bunch of fullbacks there. You got if Teddy's out and Turbo goes in, Turbo's out, Latrell goes in. So, you know, he could easily be a number 14 if he was playing that good a couple of years ago. But injuries have really, really rattled that poor kid in the last couple of years. And you got to really start taking care of him as his mental health. And, you know, like a lot of players, hey, look at Boyd Cordner and Jake Friend. The Roosters set the precedent for medically retiring people. Boyd Cordner at the peak of his powers had to retire. That's, you know what I mean? These young kids are copping head knocks. It's a lot harder than it was in the 90s and the 80s. You know what I mean? It's just that guys are bigger, stronger, faster. And, you know, even KP, Kiri, these young kids, man, they're not the biggest people, and they're getting hit by, you know, big guys like Tino. They're 120 kilo, 6'5" dudes who run like backs. You know, that's what forwards are built like these days. They're not overweight, chubby dudes who don't come in. You know, it's not like the 90s and the 80s. They were tough men. They were tough men, you know, punching on all the time, all that kind of stuff. But it's a different physicality of the game now. You know, Pap, he's been hit with head injuries and proper injuries. Yeah. Hamstrings, kneecaps. You know, that might slow him down a little bit. Maybe just rest him for the rest of the year. Kiri, Kiri rest him for the rest of the year. Pete,
I think Kiri's back this week. Yeah. Kiri's back.
But if Kiri gets hit one more time,
that's him. Pull
the pin, and because he's coming back from an ACL, it usually takes about 18 months to get back, and it's not even that yet. So next year, that should be he'll be back. You just got to be careful with these. The clubs need to be really careful looking after these players because they're marquee players. These guys that we're mentioning. You know, we don't want to miss Pappenhausen or Kiri or KP. KP's one head knock off missing the whole year. You know what I mean? It's a real serious thing. And I think the clubs will take it serious because of what happened last year with Boyd Cordner and Jake Friend.
My concern with Pappy, with regards to this injury and a few lower body ones that he's had with the hemis and that recently, Jacko, is that, Mace, you'll know the beauty of Pappy is he's only a small guy and he's quick and he's nimble. If he keeps having these lower body injuries, I think it takes it out. Yeah, it'll take it out of him because he uses his deception around the ruck and dips and gets low. So if he loses just a touch, that could be the difference between not getting through that hole and potentially getting another head knock, what you're talking about.
You know how big forwards are and how agile they are around the ruck. Yeah. He just proves how good a player he is to find those little gaps. Like Billy Slater was one of those players again at the start, but he bulked up, Billy.
Yeah,
Billy was
Pappy's smaller than Billy.
Pappy's really small. He's slender build. He doesn't have as much muscle bulk. Ponga's he's stacked as well around the hips and everything like that. Like Pappy's legs aren't thick and around the glutes and all that kind of stuff. Like where Ponga, he's pretty built low to the ground, real powerful hips powerful glutes. Yeah, really good powerful. Glutes. So where Pappenhausen will be working his ass off to try and get to that level. But you take that 1 meter, half a meter of pace away from him, brings him back to the fold. That'll be hard for him.
Can the Storm win without Pappy?
No way. I think the Storm have really, really come back to the pack. They'll be lucky. They will make the top 4, but it could be a bang bang straight out. Because of Pappenhausen is there. Pappenhausen's their dude. He's that X factor. They can. And him and Cam Munster. But they've all had some big runs in the last 10 years. That group, big runs, grand finals, major semis,
a lot of footy,
preliminaries, origins, tests. All that kind of stuff. It'll get you at the end. They might still just because of their culture and the way that they're coached, it might get them to the preliminary.
That's what I said. I looked at their schedule and I went, fuck. If I'm purely, you take everything out, and I looked at the team and I go, if you're an alien, you come down and someone says this is your team, but everyone's got the same coach and systems, and you don't know about the success of the club. I look and go, Storm could fucking really drop off the fucking. They'd drop out of the top 4 and then really struggle in the first week of finals, but.
It's
just the Bellamy effect, mate. It's the only reason I'm not fucking down.
That's why I'm not going. They're going to be.
Bellamy, Munster, Hughes.
If they finish, they want to finish. Everyone's going to be watch the intensity pick up from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, trying to get that top 4 because it's so important now.
I don't think you can't win a comp without.
You've got to have 2 cracks at it.
When was the last time, Jacko? Can you look at it? When was the last time anyone's won a comp from outside the top 4?
There hasn't been a while. I think Cowboys nearly got to a preliminary in 2004.
Yep. Cowboys
because they beat us.
Yeah,
I think Sharks might have finished 6th maybe that year.
I'll find out for you.
Yeah, but
well, it's been a while anyway.
It has been a while, but especially because they changed those rules. I mean, I think they deserve it. If you get top 4, it means that you've been consistent all year and you deserve 2 cracks at it.
Yeah, and you get that week off.
And you get that week off, which is so crucial. Where back in the commentators still talk about the week off could be bad. Yeah, maybe in 1992. Do you know what I mean?
When the games weren't
when the game was just fucking not as tight. Like now, you need as much rest as you can get.
Sorry,
it is. I worry about Melbourne, but I'm not worried about their system and their culture. If they can. I'm not sure who they're going to put fullback. Do they put Meany at fullback?
Well, the chat is they're trying to. I don't know. It's a rumor that I believe it's a rumor that Andrew Voss just started on SEN about going and getting a guy like Reece Walsh from the Warriors. You know what I mean?
Why wouldn't you?
He's been put.
It's possible to do that, right?
Possible
because they did it with Pangai Jr.
Yes, you can do that
up until August 1. So if
why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that?
I'd love to see that.
I would love to see that. I think he'd fit into their system quite well.
It got me thinking, mate.
Great passing game.
It got me thinking. So, if they did it, what would stop the Rabbitohs? Because, for me, I feel like the Rabbitohs outside of Campbell Graham sort of just lacking an outside back. Why don't more teams do it? I
just think they changed. I mean, last year what Penrith did, opened up Pandora's box.
Yeah, fucking oath.
So just say if you need if someone doesn't make the top 8, you've got to gun forward like a Pangai was.
Yeah, and he's moving on next year.
Why wouldn't you just slide him in? I mean, it's. I think a lot of coaches would be looking at that. If they're going to be in the top 4, even the top 6, if you're about 1 or 2 positions off, they'll be going for him.
I think it'll come down to whether the player is unsettled at the club that he's at, which stands out with Walsh now.
If you've got a fullback who's a little bit weak, and you're like, I wouldn't. And David Fafita starts hitting his straps by the end of the year, he's off contract. I wouldn't mind having a big Fafita coming off the bench.
Fafita's got 1 more year.
I think he's off this year, isn't he?
I think he's got one more year.
Yeah, he does.
Well,
but still, if the Titans, if they go full clean out.
If you are... I thought he
one more.
He only signed a 2-year deal.
I'm pretty confident one more.
I asked if he signed a 2-year deal.
Because I was looking at the teams when I was going to do the Redcliffe thing, and he wasn't available.
Okay, all right.
So because I was looking at teams about 6 weeks ago to see who Redcliffe could get.
As if coaches aren't looking at that. Who's off contract? Who can we get?
It was a 3-year deal last year, so he's got 2023 will be.
So like, who could you get? You know what I mean? I'll be looking at that. He's moving on. He doesn't know where to go. Like Reece Walsh.
Yeah.
Perfect candidate.
Walsh is perfect for the Storm.
This is only anecdotal as well, boys, but it says here, I don't know how legitimate this article is, but it says that no team has won the comp from outside of the top 4 since the new top 8 system.
Yeah, no one's
thought so. As you know, on this show, we speak about champions a lot and try and pick who comes first. But in the bedroom, champions don't come first. Ask Nooshi, baby. We come last, baby. Steady Freddy is a doctor-formulated delay spray that helps you guys last longer in bed. Look, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. PE happens to 1 in 3 guys. So that's myself, Jacko's in the room, and Lukey. Take your game to the next level. Steady Freddy is here to help you go the extra distance. Like Simi did all 4 rounds last night in the boxing. They've also released a multivitamin specifically for male sexual health called Ball Boost. Check it out, steadyfreddy.com.
So,
They've gotten to preliminaries and stuff like that,
grand
but they
finals.
haven't.
Para from
but they just haven't won.
Made it with Michael Morgan when they went on that stupid run as well.
2017,
but no one's won it.
Yep.
Cronulla finished 3rd that year. They won it.
So you've got to be finishing top 4.
It's so important to finish top 4, isn't it?
All right. Moving on. Scope, we'll start with you here. Timmy Sheens has been announced officially as the Tigers head coach. We haven't sort of got your reaction to this. So he'll mentor Benji, who will take over in 2025. I suppose your first reaction to that as a ploy.
Yeah.
And then would it be appealing to players off contract? At least there's now as a plan there at the Tigers.
I think it's way more appealing now, for sure. I had a little bit to think. Initially, I went, fuck, this is like typical Tigers. But then the more I thought about it, how influential Benji is, you know it as well. Apparently, it's already worked in the sense that he has apparently reached out. Benji's called Isaiah Papali'i, had a conversation with him, and just assured him, stability at the club. I'm going to be running the joint. I'm going to be working in attack. Tim Sheens will oversee everything else. I just think it's probably one of the better moves that the Tigers has made in a long time. It just makes so much sense now.
Tim Sheens has been around. He's the triple OG. He has been around. Like he was coaching. Wayne Bennett was underneath him. Craig Bellamy was there.
At the Raiders.
So he knows exactly what to do. He won a premiership in 2005. He built that club. He's so well respected within the coaching realm. And he's going to mentor Benji. He's going to mentor Robbie Farah. He's going to get the right people around him. He's very powerful within that club. If there's board members that are disgruntled, because it'd be hard because you've got to deal with 2 board members there. 2 board members, like the western suburbs and the West Tigers.
True.
There's a lot of factions there. It's very ugly.
I don't think that's not spoken about enough.
No, it isn't. I don't think people understand that because you've got all these guys that are sitting there and board members think they sit on there, they can control the club. Sponsors think they can control the club. They don't. It's the coaches and the CEOs and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a great move. Tim Sheens, you can't say he's old. Wayne's got him. I think Wayne's like Wayne's. I think Wayne's old. I think Wayne's 69 or 70.
Yeah. Wayne's the oldest man alive. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great move, and I think he's probably been laying in the cut for a while, going, should I get back into coaching? Because it's probably highly stressful as well.
Yeah.
The Tigers, are they? Is it the right time for me? In the last, just say 5 or 6 years, definitely not the right time. But now you got Appy coming there, Big Papali'i coming there.
Apparently they've got really good youngsters, 16s and 18s.
They develop a heap of them.
They're all coming from Campbelltown.
Yes, they have. So I remember just doing some stuff with our Harold Matts and SG Ball playing Tigers. They've got some weapons. Well, some really big players.
It makes sense to me now from Benji's point to maybe go down, have a look down, because I know he's been doing. I've seen a clip with him and Brett Kamali doing some stuff with the youth a couple of months back. Yeah.
Robbie
and I put 2 and 2 together. And I'm like, Benji's a smart operator, man.
He's
not a fucking.
He's a smart human, mate. And he's footy IQ and he's respecting the game. And he's Benji Marshall. He's arguably their best player ever. And I think he is highly respected, but not just because he's Benji Marshall. He knows the game. He understands the game. He's Maori as well, so he understands the demographic of people, the Islanders, the Indigenous. He knows everything, which is massive for a young coach to come in there. And I think they made a great decision.
I wonder if, bro, that's another good point. You know, if an Aussie coach comes in, maybe does he have the same pull as what Benji might have with just having that Kiwi relationship with him, you know?
I don't think so because, unless, I mean, there's been a few coaches just saying in the last 5 or 6 years, they haven't really looked at it like we look at it. It's like, hey, this game is dominated by Polynesians now. Yeah. Maoris, Indigenous, you're talking 60%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's getting hot, and it's only going to get higher. It's only going to get higher. So if you are a young head coach now, and if you've got if you are, Maori, Islander, something like that, you can understand it a lot better.
Yeah.
Because you've got to understand the cultures and where we come from and family. And,
that's what makes Wayne
religious,
great, doesn't he?
Religion.
He understands the culture.
Exactly.
Wayne does. Yeah.
Wayne understands that. He's evolved from the
so does
80s.
Ivan's like,
Bellamy does that as well. Yeah. Like he knows, he understands, like when you're talking to a bunch of Indigenous kids, they're not going to look you in the eye because it's disrespectful. If you understand that, they'll look at if you look at them, they're looking at the ground. Most Polynesians are looking at the ground too because if you look them in the eyes, it means, I'll fucking fight you. Do you know what I mean? Like that means there's something wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you don't understand all those little nuances with young players and everything and different cultures, you'll fail as a coach.
Mace,
because if you don't get the brothers on side, it's the end.
I've had legit teammates that have gone, and it's not been the case, and I won't name who the players were. The coach going, fuck, he's racist, that coach, and the coach isn't, but he just doesn't know how to communicate didn't know how to communicate with the Islander boys, and didn't understand the culture, and therefore it just rubs off.
It just comes off disrespectful,
and they'll say shit, and they're half joking around, but they're half serious as well. Like they honestly feel like that.
Because if they wouldn't say it, even if you're half joking around, be like that word just comes out a fair bit in some squads. So
it does.
I think a lot of these young coaches like Serraldo's and and Benji's and that, they understand that because they're our age. They're around about 30s, 40s. You know what I mean? They understand society. And the great coaches who have been around for 30 years, 20 plus years, they understand that as well. It's all about managing people. You got to have a good bunch of people around your coach. You need a good team around you as a coach. You can't. It's not the 90s and when you said that one dude just rolling, just coaching everyone.
Jack Gibson.
Yeah, you just can't do that. Remember when I first started, Folksy was the coach. He's just it. Just Folksy. Just Steve Folks.
Flog years, do con.
Yeah, and he'd do the
plan,
con. He would have one
step.
We'd have a strength and conditioner, and it would be Folksy. That was it. And then about 2001, 2, we got an assistant coach.
Yeah.
And that lasted for a while. There was no attack, defense, middles. But now it's becoming more like NFL because it's become, just say if I can get every single player individually up every game, collectively coming together as a team, that's what NFL do. They offensive linemen, defensive linemen, get quarterback coaches, wide receivers, DBs, all that kind of stuff. They all get their own coaches. Then they all come together as a team. And then they win, and that's the main objective. So that's what's happening now with a lot of coaches. They're getting middle coaches, edge coaches, outside back coaches, halves coaches. Head coach oversees everything. Yeah. And that's the way we're going. And it's evolving into that now. Gone are the head coach, there's the defense coach, there's the attack coach. It's not good enough.
So that's the beauty of Sheens. He'll be able to do all the outside stuff, control the media, control the board members, and then Benji will just do fucking free stuff.
And you got Robbie Farah there as well. He can do the middles.
Robbie's doing some defense stuff with them, I think. And they got a good little crew there. Scope, let's move on to your boy Trell Mitt. Obviously off the back of the Game of Doom, one of the great 15 minutes of all time. Comes out with that 3 jerseys mine. We talk about New South Wales passion, Mace. Probably nobody embodies it like Trell at the moment. But Scope, what'd you make of his comments post-game and his performance in general?
We fucking love that shit. Love it, Mace. Guy comes out, he's not, a lot of the times these players, they get, they cliche, generic, the boring chat, and we fucking hammer him for that. Trell comes out, he says it. To be fair, I think it's got a pretty good...
What did he say?
He goes, that number 3 jersey is mine. So he ran over Matty Burton twice.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I didn't love it at the time.
Yeah, and so he's running over Matty Burton and he's poking his tongue out. And then after the game, they asked him, how he felt. And he just said he wanted to send a message. And he goes, that 3 jersey is mine, baby.
I love that. I do love that because I knew, obviously, I'm with the Bulldogs and stuff, and I knew that he was going to take that shit personally.
Take the Bulldogs out of it.
Take the Bulldogs out of it. And I'm like, he could have had about 3 or 4 people to run at. He got the ball beeline for Birdo.
Twice.
And just threw him twice. And then he stuck his tongue out, and he's sort of just sending a message, pretty much to New South Wales and to everybody else, like, I own that number 3.
Yeah.
I'll get it tatted on my back if I want. You know what I mean? But like that, what he said was raw. And the number 3 jersey is his. Birdo can fit into that side somewhere. But that left centre, he's the best. He's still the best left centre in the game. And I think he had a point to prove. What he did to us, if they didn't have Latrell, we win.
Yeah, I agree.
I was just like, come on, man, why you got to wake him up? He's just just kick it to someone else. But he wanted to get those kicks on the full. Like he put himself in position where he got the ball back and when he could do whatever he wanted to. Like he's the most dominant.
I can see a Hainsey turbo type run happening for Souths. They're currently 8th, paying $21. For me, a full strength Rabbitohs team is the only team that can beat Penrith on grand final day. So I'm not saying teams aren't capable of knocking off South before they get there. I'm not saying that. Like Cowboys Cowboys at a pinch, Broncos, Sharks, all these teams are there and abouts. But if you're going to play Penrith on a grand final day, they've been there. They fell short by an intercept pass last year. The year before,
no Latrell.
Both times no Latrell. And they lost by maybe a try, 8 at max. They're the only team that's really come close. Melbourne Storm's another one, but like I said, I just draw a line through them without Pappy.
If the middles turn up like they have been, like Totola was outstanding.
That was his
best
outstanding.
Game. Tom Birch is outstanding. The young
Tommy,
kid numbered Sele,
Tommy is fucking
10.
killing it at the moment.
Tom's killing it.
Last 3 or 4
Jai
weeks.
Arrow, Kaloa Matangi. They've got the team there. If the young 7 can just play how he's playing, getting the good balls on, and Cody Walker's just gone to another level. Yeah. He has because he's got Latrell there. His outside backs just need to catch pass or just execute.
Yeah,
like they were last year, and they have got the team to actually make a big run because they've got that dude out the back.
Lockie Ilias is the key for me. Yeah. Like if he can just play Adam Reynolds-ish sort of play where. I'm not saying he has to have a 10 out of 10, but is
just 7 out of 10 every game.
The beauty of Adam Reynolds is we didn't realise how good he was. Well, the people outside didn't realise how good he was until he's gone and what he's done at the Broncos, and then he left South and they took a little bit. If we're not talking about Lockie Ilias at the end of the year, that's a fucking really good thing because you know what? There's a good chance that fucking Latrell and Cody Walker are killing it.
Yeah, I think I'll give you nothing but love to Adam Reynolds, but the Broncos were sort of nearly made. When they went up, they needed just a kicker and they needed a game manager. And Lockie Ilias is a rookie. So I'm not sure what we expected from this kid, but a few bumps and bruises along the way, he got hooked. And I was saying on my podcast, I was like, you know what, this is a big call from Demetriou because you got to know your cattle as a coach because he obviously does because he hooked him and he's been one of their best players since. Because some of these young kids don't really take that sort of, they can take it the wrong way. They can come back next time, this is fun, this is no resilience. Some of these kids have got no resilience. He went, I've got to work on this, got to work on that. He's come back being at least their top 3. He needs to be in their top 3 or 5 best players on the field. And he has been in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, with Reynolds, they have lost him, his game management, knowing when to kick and he's not the strongest defender, Reynolds. So you're not really, I think Ilias is a stronger defender.
Ilias is a big body, bro.
Yeah,
I met him at a golf day. He's fucking fit.
He's a decent, he's probably a better defender. It's just going to take a while. He's only played first grade with Cody. It was always going to take about this time to get continuity. No Latrell for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You got to give this kid a break. He's not that dude yet. Maybe in a couple of years, but if he can do what he's doing now, they'll be talking about him at the end of the year.
Yeah, Latrell's in a good space.
Latrell's good. He looks happy, man.
I love watching Latrell little things off the ball. I watch when I zone in a player too. I don't just watch what he's doing carrying the footy. The way he opens it up for his teammates, his reactions.
Yeah.
In the past, he'd even admit it. Fucking get really fired up with a non-decision. He apologised to the ref after he took Josh Adokar. When was the last time? Latrell's done. He's done it back-to-back weeks. He picked up. Dane
Gaggai's going, where's my apology? but he looks happy. You know what I mean?
He's in a good place,
some of the things that he's
off the
doing,
piss, apparently.
What he's doing when he threw that cutout ball to really seal the deal. Just his awareness. He's there. He saw the winger turn in just a little bit, and he fires it at the perfect time. No look, bang, straight on his chest. You know how hard that is to do? It was just it was ridiculous. He just saw that young kid turn his shoulders in just a little bit. He knows that AJ stays real tight, and then he goes straight out real quick, real late. So he gets those
fan
wingers.
shape.
He gets those, they fan out. So he knows he's going to fan out. Puts that ball straight in his chest, in full stride. Winger just gets caught like that. But you got to look at that. And he was looking straight that way, but he could see it. His peripherals could see it. And I'm like, damn, I don't think people know how hard that is.
The difference... That's 100% not a try if he looks, by the way. You know, sometimes when players do shit and you're like, oh, did he need to do that? Did he need to jump into did he need to no-looker? Did he need to flick and all this sort of stuff?
Schuster.
What it did...
Schuster.
when he just, like, loads up like this, because Carraz, he's got a little bit about him, that Carraz, right?
Carraz.
He's got a little bit... I don't mind Carraz.
He caught him.
He got him because Carraz went... No, he's not going to throw it. And he second guessed it because he almost like... It went straight over his face. He was half trying to go get it and then he's went... No, he's not going to throw it. It was honestly the difference between taking it to the house.
Take it to the house, man. I looked at that and went, wow. Because Carraz is he's not dumb.
He's a gamer, man, that Carraz.
He would have
I don't mind him.
At least hit the ball down or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Just that, I was just like, wow. He's on. You can't coach against that. Just the way he did it was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, we're excited for Latrell this year, Skip. Let's move on. We got your boy BA. It seems like every year, for whatever reason, reports that BA is being shopped around. These ones seem to have a little bit more smoke there. I don't know how true it is, but if Brad Arthur isn't the guy at Parramatta Scope, where does he end up, or what do Parramatta end up doing? What do you see with the whole BA situation?
He's still doing that.
Yeah, it's still it's like, but it's I don't know if it's when they say there's smoke, there's fire. Is it just Parramatta being Parramatta? And this is coming from a guy that's played at the club. I was there for 3 years. Played lower grades for a couple of years. It was just continuously chat behind. We talk about boards and shit, mate. Like as you know. Yeah. It's just one of those clubs where there's always chat. I know the fans are always pretty hard on BA.
What do they expect?
There are a few concerning games that they've played against the Tigers and the Warriors of late where they're just not closing out games. But
who did they play on the weekend? Sorry,
they played the Warriors and then gave up another big lead, and they did it against the Tigers the week before.
Did they lose?
No,
they won.
Oh, they won, but they're still coming for it.
They're just not closing it out like people would like to see. So I think it'll come down to. I honestly believe it's a make or break season for BA. I reckon they'll whether you think it's a good decision or not. I don't. I would keep BA if I was in charge of Parramatta, but I just know with all this chat that's around them, if they don't,
he could go to the Gold Coast.
He almost has to make the top four again, like he did last year. And if he goes down, it's got to be competitive, like he did against Penrith last year.
We said that against South.
I
think if one team that could give it a crack is Parramatta.
Yeah.
They do. They do have all the. They have all the weapons.
They beat Penrith this year.
They're the hardest read.
They got Campbell Gillard. You got Marnie. Marnie probably played his best couple of games the last couple of weeks. He's been off a little bit. You got Paulo. You've got Madison's been out for a little bit. You got Sean Lane. You've got Nathan Brown's been on the out. I'm not sure why. You got Papali'i. You got two of pretty much the best halves in the game. But when they're rocks or diamonds sometimes, they just need to be on. You've got those two young centres, good wingers, Gutho at the back. I worry about Gutho's injuries as well. He looks like he's copped a hammering this year.
Yeah, he's taped up. He's taped up at the minute. I can see him sort of like having to talk himself into games.
Yeah.
I watch him, he's another player I watch closely, and it's almost like he has to go, come on, he gets, because he's so competitive and he's one of those guys, and he wants to lead because he's a skipper.
And I think if they can find a little bit of consistency, as I said, this is the time where you make your run. They want to finish top four. And I think they will. I think they've got the cattle to do that. But BA, he cops an absolute hammering. He's made finals the last 3 years.
Yeah. The hard thing with BA is not everyone can win the comp every year. And Parramatta for the last 5 years, 6 years have been a fucking good side.
I understand who you've been getting beat by.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been Penrith, there's been Roosters, there's been Melbourne's. They're gun teams. They've been better than Parramatta. It's not like Parra's been, hard done by. Oh my God! The refs. I mean, last year maybe Penrith. That was a terrible call. But they've still got the same squad as last year.
And I didn't go out of that game going that injury fucking thing. Definitely 100% cost them because Penrith. But on paper, I said that I think Rabbitohs are the only team that can beat Penrith in a GF. Well, Parramatta are the only team that's actually beat Penrith this year. And Melbourne, down at Melbourne when they were coming I believe they'll
lead. What do you think about North Queensland?
I feel like Cowboys are going to be a good story and building. They're still, mate, they're fucking so young. Nanai's 19, Tommy Dearden's 21, Hamaso's 20, 21, and he's not even part of their strongest lineup. Murray Taulagi would be 22, Tommy Gilbert's 21, 22. Their team is fucking so young, man.
Ruben, even Lukey.
Welcome back, Potter.
Welcome back. So he'll be back soon. But I mean, like, I just think coming out of Origin, he's going to have so much confidence. Nanai, so much confidence. Tuolangi, so much confidence. Jordan McLean he was going to play Origin. Even knowing that he was going to play Origin will bring him a lot of confidence. The other young kid, the other young prop, he's had a great year. He was with the Broncos last year, I think. Just that little nugget just does all the work for him. He really compliments Taumalolo.
Tanua Brown.
No. He's
Griffin Neame?
No,
Griffin Neame?
No.
He's been good, Griffin Neame, though.
Firma? Not Firma. He's from the Gold Coast. Just check who their starting props are.
Yeah, I'll have a look for you. Sorry.
But I think they've just got a really well-balanced side.
Yeah, they do.
Holmes.
I think they're a year away.
Like Holmes is a gun. Drinkwater's been playing outstanding. They're all having career best years. Yeah. Taumalolo's getting these wide balls, catching at sea, getting to the four-man, lead run out the back. And then he can either just go bang off his left foot, catch A and B slipping, push you straight off your ass, or pass, or hit the front guy. Like he's evolved so good.
Him.
You can't.
He had a fucking crazy non-try against the Sharks as well.
You cannot coach against what they're doing now. You know, all their forwards are passing the ball. Their backs are scoring all these tries. You know, they got magic everywhere. And I think if you could get them in a grand final and they play their best, they could shock someone.
Well, I think. My point with it is, I think they can knock Rabbitohs out, and like Rabbitohs don't even make the GF. But you know what I mean? That's my point. Like I just don't see them beating Penrith on the big day. Whereas I wouldn't be surprised if they made the grand final, if that makes sense, because they'll be coming
the final four. The final four.
I did a little bracket, and I'm going to put it out next week because last year I did really well with my bracket, and I'll have Penrith finishing one, and they'll be rested. So in the last game, Penrith play the Cowboys, and the difference between that game is. Cowboys, with my prediction and the way I see it playing out...
Do you reckon they'll rest? They won't rest players.
Penrith will.
You reckon?
Penrith will because they'll be locked first position and they won't risk getting injured because Ivan's already shown it. Clearly will rest players if he needs to.
And just give those young
Cowboys
kids just
need it to lock in second position, so they'll win that last game, which will be crucial.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be hard. Yeah, I honestly don't think people will beat Penrith on their... If Penrith are on, Penrith need to be off.
Yeah.
They need to be off. A key player like a Cleary or Luai, some sort of, I'm not saying anything, like some sort of injury might like really bring them back to the pack. They've got to get through these last 5 or 6 games to, one injury could derail a top 4 side. Big time.
I feel like you've really got to throw Penrith off with a bit of shit too.
And
they're capable of it. Souths are capable of talking shit at them.
I think so too. You know what I mean? You've got to go at Fisher Harris. Yeah. You've got to take Kickow out. You've got to play some real rough-nosed sort of football. Go at them because they're used to just going at you and just mauling you for the 80th minute. Kick, chase, bring out, bash you for like 80 minutes. Like there's just non-stop with these guys and they're built like that. Kickow. You can take Kickow out of the game sometimes. He just sits on that left edge.
He's a lot better this year.
Oh, he's amazing. He's the best left back rower in the game at the moment. But like, if you have inside pressure, don't let Cleary dig so far into the line. Yeah. You can get Cleary and Luai off their game sometimes. Yeah. It's been proven at the top level. Queensland's done it twice, kept them quiet, but it's different at a club level. You put inside pressure on, but then you've got to take care of Appy and you've got you've got so many options. They fall into shape, the best I've ever seen a team do. As soon as Yo gets the ball, he's got a lead run, he's got Cleary out the back. Yeah,
the reason that stuff might not work with getting him is that's legit like 7 of New South Wales best players, and you got the best of Queensland trying to do that. So,
but that's what, easier said than done. But I'm just saying, if you have a good middle like where Totola and Burgess and Jai Arrow and who's the Cook can get real inside pressure, these guys are playing at the highest level. They know what to do. You have to play the perfect game against Penrith to get him, and that's all about inside pressure and making Cleary play earlier than he wants. And trying to get at Yo. You can if you're a good defensive team, you could get at Penrith and you could shut them down. But you've got to be consistent for 80 minutes, and that's the hardest thing because Penrith will always win that yardage battle. They'll get these cage kicks and jam you in their 10 metres, pick you up like a little kid and throw you back 5 metres. Kickow does that the best. They always kick that way towards Kickow. You know what I mean? Like they just
the game against Parramatta.
Liam Martin does all the real grubby things. He's not a grub. I love Liam Martin, but he does all those tough little things that you're like, fuck it, go unnoticed. But he's tough. Yo does all those little things. Fucking who's the other prop? Bloody, he hits like a truck. Not Fisher Harris.
Spencer Lenius hits like a truck.
Spencer Lenius.
Spencer Lenius not even part of their best 17 this week.
And he's unreal.
What?
He's not. He's 18, 19. That's how good they're going.
So who's
Scotty Sorensen, Eisenhuth off the pine.
Yeah, but like who's the
Jamin
brother?
Salmon,
Who's
Teriyaki.
the Samoan brother who plays the other prop?
Leota.
It's
Yeah.
like a truck. You don't run into him. Yeah. Like, just say if I was playing Penrith, I'm running into Fisher Harris than him because he's the perfect size to bash me.
Spencer Lenius could almost walk into
Any
more
side.
than half the team starting lineups.
That's who the Dolphins should be fucking trying to reel
But
in,
he just signed a 3-year deal with him. Has he been playing bad, or are they trying to? Like,
I don't know.
They're just too stacked, I think.
they're too stacked, and too many players have just been killing
He's
it.
got something on. He's better than Eisenhuth. I think Eisenhuth's a big body in that, but he don't do.
He's reliable, Eisenhuth.
He's just reliable, but I think Spencer's one of my favourite players to watch.
Yeah.
It's
Come to the Bulldogs, bro. Wow, I can't believe that. He's 18th man.
Yeah, he's 18, 19, yeah.
So they got that other little kid, so they got that, what's his name?
Jamin Salmon, Scotty
Samet.
Soren.
Is it
Salmon. Teriyaki.
I thought Teriyaki.
Teriyaki
I thought
off
it was
the
that. Remember
pine.
that other Samet who played?
Yeah, Jared Salmon.
Jared Samet. Remember in a couple of years ago, he was a fucking superstar. Oh my God, I want to tear his head off.
He did have a career in France, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He went over to the UK too, yeah.
He had a good couple
He
of
was
years
a good
of
fella.
South and
He was a
stuff
good
like
fella,
that. No, he was
Jason.
good value to the game.
But
I remember it's like,
he had the 6 months to do it. He had a Jeremy Lin type fucking
mate,
season, didn't he?
He had a little insanity.
Yeah, he had Linsanity.
Semanity. Oh man, he was good. I was just like, who is this little kid? Little rat from Penrith. I'll tear his head off.
Yeah, Doonside, dirty Doonside.
Yeah,
I played against him
he's
growing
Penrith
up.
personified.
Yeah.
He's out from the Craig Gower sort of cloth.
Yeah.
That's a hard cloth.
All right, let's move on. Scope, we'll start with you here. Victor Radley is the big story this week. He chooses England, which basically means, well, not basically, he's out, can't play Origins. He's chosen to represent his father's heritage and England at the World Cup, which sort of raises the question, Skip, does the international eligibility need to be tweaked moving into this modern era? May sort of touched on the 60% swing towards the Polynesian players at the moment.
It's a shock.
What do you make of the Radley situation?
This is where
has he submitted that he won't play for New South Wales? That's what I look at. I'm like, he doesn't think he can play for New South Wales.
He was in the Game 2 squad.
Yeah, I know that, but he's probably thinking Yo's going to be there for 3 or 4 years. Cam Murray. I thought, oh, come on, Vic. That sucks.
We were picking him. Me and you were picking him for fucking.
I still look at him as a future Origin and Australian player.
Big time.
Wow, that's
but it does open up a can of worms now, right? Because people were saying with the tier, like you start thinking about the tier one. I'm more confused than I was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago because I was more looking at it from the Tongan Samoan point of view, where they brush the tiers.
Hastings is going to play. He's going to play for England as well. So
if you like the rule that people were tossing up, if you've played junior footy at the age of 12 or 13, you can play for State of Origin for wherever you played. So for instance, St. Clair Comets 13. I could play. They're talking about scrapping it, and then potentially Kiwis could play Origin, and then go back and play for New Zealand. Or
that won't happen.
Yeah,
That's
why it's this is the hard thing with the Tongan Samoan thing.
They just need to make these. There's so much grey.
Yeah,
just make it. You got to make it black and white. And I'm not sure whose decision this is, but.
I don't want to be the one to make a decision.
I don't know, because we were just sitting here
going, we're
sitting here because, I think Tyler should be able to play Origin and he should be able to play for Samoa. Right. And he should be able to play for Australia. But, there's, only because there's a tier 2. There's a loophole. Yeah. There's a loophole in the system.
It doesn't make sense. It's unfair for a guy like Kieran Foran, who played under 6s here, come over from Ellerslie Eagles or under 9s, and he grew up in fucking New South Wales schools. Yeah. He would have watched Origin. He went to school with Mitchie Pearce. And they potentially could have played, he chose New Zealand. I'm not saying that that was purely his decision because the Kiwi jersey meant more to him. But I don't know, man. I've never asked Fozzie if the opportunity was there to play New South Wales and then play for the Kiwis. He might have done it.
Because they throw those jerseys at you young. I remember when I was 18, 19, they threw the opportunity for me to play for New Zealand at the World Cup in 2000. And that was big. I said, no, I want to play for Tonga. I'll play for Tonga because I wanted to play for Australia. They did it to me in Tamana Tahu because they knew that we were eligible because I was born there. Tamana's father's Māori. So they're like, Wiz, Gary Freeman.
Yeah,
trying to get us in early, but they throw that jersey at you real quick.
Good operator, Wiz.
Yeah, the old Wiz. Wiz tried to catch me slipping. I was like, no. I still wanted to play for Australia because I didn't look at myself as a Kiwi or anything like that because my old man was Australian. And I think Tamana looks at he's Indigenous.
Indigenous Māori.
Indigenous Māori, but he was brought up in Australia.
Yeah, so
he was born here, so it's different things, like Tamana. Like I said,
Tamana didn't have a connection with the Māori side for a long time.
I didn't have.
Because I played Māoris with him in 2010. That was his first representation of being involved with all that stuff.
Yeah, because all the time he was more. He looked at his Indigenous bloodline and all that kind of stuff. We grew up. I've known Tamana since we were 10 years old. So I remember that come at me like real young, and I had to make that was a pretty hard decision because you think New Zealand, that's top three country in the world. You've got a chance to play
the final.
It's like that would be good, but that's your alliance straight away. Like you couldn't come back and play for Australia. So I'm like, no, I want to play for Australia. And then the next year, I think I did, and so did Tamana. We debuted nearly at the same time. Taumalola comes over when he's 13 years old. Yeah. He had we said this last time, but he has the opportunity to play for New Zealand, Queensland, New South Wales, Tonga, and he's chosen New Zealand. Now he can play for Tonga because it's a Tier 2 nation. So there's so much grey area.
Can I ask you, Mace? So the argument, I don't think it's that hard. I think it's simply scrap the tiers and let the best players play Origin. But the argument is always tradition. Would it, as a New South Wales legend, would it sit well with you for a guy like Kieran, for example? Let's use Fozzie as an example, who is born in New Zealand but played all of his footy here in Australia. If Kez was to play for New South Wales and then play for New Zealand at the end of the year, for example, would that sit well with you as a New South Welshman, or does that feel a bit weird?
Not really, and I don't think it sits well with a lot of players who have played Origin because it's embedded in young New South Wales kids in Queensland, especially Queensland. They're the ones that won't go for this New Zealand, playing for New Zealand and stuff like that.
So why is it different for Luai?
It's because we've been more competitive than what Samoa and Tonga have been over the years, isn't it? Yeah. Deep down, that's the difference. It's because New Zealand has been Australia's greatest chance.
New Zealand's the nemesis
and of winning World Cup.
They're Australia feel threatened because Origin is our baby. You know what I mean? It's like it means so much, but like now because so much Polynesian brothers playing in Origin. Do you know what I mean? Like you take 13 or 14 of those players, they can make the Australian team. Take them out. That brings Australia way back to the pack, way back. You're not going to dominate like we used to because there wasn't that many when I was playing. It was me, Petro, Brent Kite, and that was about it. No one else, like in New Zealand, they had a fair few Samoa and Tongan bros, Manu Vatavai and Monty Beetham and Nigel Vangana, Willie Talau, all that. That would really diminish New Zealand if they didn't have the Polynesian influence. Now it's happening in Australia because they're Australian born or they've come over when they're 5 or something like that, but mainly Australian born. Now they get the decision to play for Australia if they want, Tonga, Samoa, and still New South Wales or Queensland. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of... It's hard. I think if you really wanted everyone... I think I said last time when Tonga was saying, Willie Tonga come up with that great idea. If you want to play best of the best, like all-stars sort of thing, you got a captain from, just say like, the captain from New South Wales, captain from Queensland, you just picked the best players and made it like a competition in the preseason. Then New Zealand and England and everyone could sort of play. But Origin won't be touched. The powers that be will not let that play. They won't let it play out. They'll let the To'os and the Luais and everything like that because they're born here.
Will that change if, let's say, it's not even that out of realm possibility, Skip, if you have a World Cup final between Tonga and Samoa, let's say, for example, and those two become, very competitive on the international scene, will they start to get a little bit more reluctant to release the guys like To'o and Luai and Crichton to play Origin, or
it's the players' decision?
I don't think so because I think it'll be just on the players because they've already signed that. Oh, who do you want to play for when you're 13? New South Wales. Yeah, like that's what you want to play for. So they're the rules. They set the rules, and now they're just playing by the rules. I want to play for Samoa and I want to play for New South Wales. That's it. Like I don't think it's not that hard. Like I'm not sure why they're whinging about like why these Tongan and Samoans are playing for Origin. Like they're allowed to. Yeah. They're brought up in Australia. They're allowed to play for New Zealand. Like if they wanted to, because their heritage would be in New Zealand as well. But they're allowed to play for New South Wales and Queensland. I don't see the big deal. You can't just say because he's Samoan, he can't play Origin. He was brought up in New South Wales. A kid was brought up in Queensland. They want to play for Queensland. They're eligible to play. What's the big fucking deal?
But then we keep coming back. Then why don't you let Kieran Foran and Kalen Ponga play for Kiwis?
Well, maybe they just didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like maybe these young kids like Taumalola didn't want to play in New South Wales or for Queensland. He had the opportunity to do that. Foz didn't want to do it. Foz would have said, I'd rather play for New Zealand because my old man's New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like he
Mum and dad New Zealand.
Mum and dad in
Born-
New Zealand. So
yeah.
I don't feel anything in my heart to play for Australia. So that's what happens when you get to that stage. I didn't feel anything for New Zealand in my heart when I had to make that decision. So it's up to the individual. If they feel like that, they feel so passionate about the country, they'll play for that country. It's not a big deal.
It's their decision.
It's their decision. They're not getting forced, and money's not a big thing anymore to these young kids because they're on nearly $1 million. Do you know what I mean? So if Toy wants to play for Samoa and he's still eligible for New South Wales, he plays for New South Wales. You know what I mean? Luai, Crichton, Papali, Tino, you know, like Nanai, Tuolangi, like all these guys, they're eligible for New South Wales and Queensland, so that's it. I don't see the big deal.
Scope, just before we move off this, Radley choosing England, what was your immediate reaction to that one specifically?
Because I want the international game to be as strong as possible. I actually liked it, and his reasons are valid, and no one can question his reasons. He's fucking talking about representing his old man.
His old man was born in England?
He's English. So, like, that's his heritage. He always wanted to do it, and he thought, I believe it was, how many times are you going to get an opportunity to represent your country in your country while you're playing a World Cup?
Fair play to him.
So, if that's his decision, then that's his decision, and he's the only, it should only matter what he says. And
what he feels.
Everything else is just noise outside of it.
But exactly how Victor Radley feels, not how everyone else feels. Because Victor Radley is the one who's made this decision about representing his family.
Poms will have a good team.
Yeah, representing his family. So everyone just shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is on you. Victor has given up his right to play for New South Wales and Australia. He's going to play for England. Good on you. You've made a decision. It's a ballsy decision. He wants to represent his family, and that's it. Full stop.
Love it.
Can't wait to see him snapping.
Oh my
It's
God.
gonna be-
I don't want to play. He's going to be putting some hits on.
It's
all
England,
right, last
they're
one's-
building themselves a nice little team.
Yeah,
the
they'll
Poms.
be all right.
Last one before we move on to the preview. Scope, we'll start with you here. Turbo, a bit of a shock yesterday. He's hopeful of a return. Skip.
Don't get me excited, Jacko.
That's his word, Skip, not mine. Tommy
Turbo, don't get me fucking excited like this, yeah? I'm talking up the fucking Rabbitohs and...
Come on, no. Have the year off, kid.
Oh, yeah. So I was thinking about this, Mason, and thinking about the injury history, jokes aside. And this is not even like, I'm not having a stab at Tommy. At first thought, I thought, no, get healthy, come back and have a crack next year, fully fit. Like, the team's building nicely. They've got a nice young right edge core that they're building there. But Turbo hasn't shown that he's capable of staying fit. So if he's fit and ready to go, who's to say they're going to be not in the same position where he's either not playing or coming back from injury or something next year? If he's fit and ready to go in finals, fuck it, play.
If he feels that way, yes.
And if you risk getting injured or whatever, you might have been a week off, but you have a crack to try to win. Like, fuck, the window's closed. Like, you know how quickly windows can close in NRL. Winning comps.
If Turbo and he feels that he's 100% fit and ready to roll, that's on him. He has to make that decision.
I don't think he'll be 100 by the end of the year.
And I just think, personally, I want to see him send him over, like whatever South did to Latrell, and they sent him overseas and got away from everything like that. I would have done that to Turbo. Get over there. They got I'm not disrespecting our science, sports,
Apparently
physiology.
there's some really good guys in Melbourne that he went to.
And all those sort of guys. But yeah, just get out of Sydney. Like, I think that was the best thing for Latrell. Get the hell out of Sydney. Get over there for 8 weeks, 10 weeks. They've had the chance to do that. I mean, Donny Singer's over there. He's one of the best blokes in the world, man. But I would go, hey, mate, just go over there. Just get a whole scan of what's happening with your body, physiologically, whatever it is.
Yeah, you got it.
But, like, all that kind of stuff, like, I would have sent him there. Like, if it's his hamstrings, if it's his shoulders, if it's just, like, biomechanics, just get all that shit right. Because I want to see...
The shoulder's a freak injury, though. That was a fucking kind of an injury. Like,
so it might have been, like, his lower body might be, like, 100%.
Yeah. And now he hasn't been putting work into his upper body.
Yeah, so now
it was a tough one, though. Makatoa was fucking coming top of his shoulder.
He didn't need a full Rico, did he?
Yeah, I think he got an uncle.
Got an uncle, and he's thinks he's a chance now.
I think he had an uncle, yeah.
No, was it a proper? Yeah. And how long's that been? 4 months?
Yeah, I believe so.
Come on, Turbo. Like, that's 6 to 9.
Yeah. All right,
I don't know. I mean, the game...
I'm hopeful. If he comes back, they're a chance.
The game wants to see Turbo back. But me personally, just for his
longevity,
his longevity, the mental side of things. If something happens again, it's going to beat that kid down, man. I just want to see him get another 10 years in the game. Or at least another, I mean, I'm like, how old is Turbo? 25 now? Be up there?
Fuck yeah, he's still only be 25.
Still a baby.
Yeah.
Give me like 8 more years of power. You know what I mean? I want to see some full seasons stuck together. And, I love that kid. He's the best kid, one of the best kids at
Good family, man.
Trebojevich's. But I just want to see him.
He's only 25,
He's 25 years old, 25. So let's not rush that kid back.
And as you know, we are, as per rolling with our friends from Manscaped, they've got the 4.0 at the moment. I've been using it personally. The rig is looking unreal at the moment. I've got a bub on the way, and that's all because of Manscaped. Looking good in the bedroom, baby. They've even got the trademark dual pouch underwear. Everything's happening at Manscaped. I think it's time to invest in your family jewels. So let your bulge breathe and get 20% off with the code SCOPE, SCOPE, at manscaped.com.
All right, preview time, Skep. We'll start with tonight's game. You got Parramatta taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Parramatta are favourites here at $1.60. Skep, what do you like?
Yeah, Mace, I'll just give you my points on this and see if you agree with us, and then we can go through them. You know what Parra give me too? They give me vibes. They give me early 2000s Roosters vibes. Remember, like back in the day, Mace, even the time around he's come, he's had some big personalities. Like they were, and they won the comp in 2002 against the Warriors, but then lost a couple. Yeah, and you guys end up coming through like the 2000s, and you just thereabouts every year without sort of getting it done. And this is what it sort of reminds me like. When I watch Parra, sometimes I think like they got too many big personalities. Like Moses stands out for sure. Like it's almost like he wants to skip at the team. He talks more to the ref than Gutho does. So I think they're going to be up for this game. I think the Bronx have shown that they're legit in the last couple of games, but I think this is if Parra. We're going to find out. I said 2 weeks ago we're going to find out who the real Broncos are if they battle down and work hard. While all their Origin players are out, all their Origin players are out. Madison comes back for the Eels. Yeah. All their Broncos players are back. Now. But I think Parra will get the job done tonight.
Yeah, they have to. They need to send a message out to everyone, like especially and to back BA up as well. I think he's got a really good relationship with most of these players.
He does.
It's just the media just seem to try and pick on him all the time. It's like Madge. Like they just Fox Sports just want to go get. It's like they got a bet on everything. How many coaches we can get sacked?
It's easy because there's so many Parra fans and Bulldogs fans. So if you
exactly, as soon as you throw something out there, they'll all bite back. But look, I'm just going through that team. That's a team right there. Yeah. I mean, they should get, but they have got Carrigan. Hey, Bronx have got Carrigan.
Paddy Tough Carrigan.
They got a decent pack. Look at that. I'm Payne Haas is back. Jensen, Capewell, Ricky.
The only one that's not back is Cobbo from the head knock. That's it. Yeah, everyone else is back.
That was bad, man.
I think it'll be a good game. I'll probably play the unders, under 41.5 this wet weather. I think it'll be a bit of a defensive battle tonight.
Yeah, it'd be awful. Is it at
and for a giggle, just watch Moses now. Like now that I've pointed out, people have probably seen it. Watch how many times he either does coaches' challenges or captain's challenges, or tells Gutho what the call is, or speaking to the refs.
Because he's right there, but Gutho's way back.
Yeah, he'll come in like it's a giggle. I love it. Like, it cracks me up. But he always nails it. Yeah. He's always right. And even sometimes he'll go up to Gutho and he'll go, "Gutho, challenge that." Like he'll tell him to challenge, and Gutho will go, second guess himself. I'll see the replay and I go, "Fuck, he got it again." Mate, he should be captain.
I just want to see Moses run the ball. I don't think it's so underrated when he runs the ball, when he hits those short sides, even when it's 3-on-3, he's burning A.
He's so quick, man.
He's so quick, throws that little bit of a dummy, like he can set so much up, you know what I mean? So I just want to see him run. If he doesn't run the game, if he doesn't run the ball at least like 10 times a game, like they seem to fall back to the pack a lot. Like his kicking game's great. He tackles well these days. I want to see Dylan Brown run the ball more. That left edge looks dangerous.
Dill's been a bit banged up, you can tell.
Yeah, like Lane is like he's creating a lot of stuff on that left edge. Oregon Kafusi's been coming off the bench.
He's
like
been
a beast.
Good. Him and Makatoa, Makahisi coming off the bench. Good, yeah, they've been good for him. Good all year, you sort of need those no frills sort of players coming off the bench just doing the job for fucking mistakes, 15 to 20 of the best, mate.
Because you need you got to give Campbell Gillard and Paul a bit of a rest. They
play 60. They generally play 60.
Play some big minutes in Origin as well and played outstanding. I thought he had an outstanding Origin series. But, it would be good to maybe give him a rest at the back end of the year if they can get some sort of...
In and around the first game Origin, Madison was killing it as well. Obviously, the dented his confidence a little bit with the getting dropped, but he's a massive in for them. I reckon he'll... He just needs...
I mean, he's just a really good club footballer.
Yeah. He's got a nice offload, second phase.
Yeah, the level of to Origin, when you get ambushed like by Brisbane, I don't care who you are. If you're a rookie, you're going to get the blame and get dropped. And he was one of them. So I think him coming back, he's that X factor in that pack.
Yeah, for sure.
Nathan Brown can't even get a start. Did Brownie play Origin a couple of years ago?
They're trying to get rid of Brownie.
A couple of years ago he did.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. He was their spiritual leader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was coming off the back.
He had a bit
fence,
of shit. He'd shoot out of the line, put a shot on.
He'd try and put a shot on. He'd try and really lift that team. And I'm like, someone's off him because it's not like they got superstars on the bench there.
Warriors,
I think he probably
hard.
Warriors
are chasing.
He'd suit the
I think they look at him and go, well, if you're not a starter, then you're not in the 17 because when you're off the bench, you need to be making an impact. And these big boys off the bench,
I think he'd be on good coin too because he re-signed a couple of years ago so you can't play him on the bench.
No.
All right. Let's move on. Early game on the Friday night scope. We've got the St. George Illawarra Dragons taking on your Turbo Less Bird Gang.
Yep.
Bird Gang are the favourites at $1.57. The line is 3.5.
What is that?
Over
is Nostrada Jubilee, is that Cogra? Or is that
I think it is, yeah.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What do we
anything
like
down in Quambra, I like the unders. Moses Sully and Jake are out. I don't know if did I miss that? Did you say that?
That sucks. Sully's been good.
Yeah, Dragons' lack of creativity has shown in dry conditions over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So they went on a run where they won 4 from 5 through the middle part when it was pissing down with rain because they play so negative. They kick corners. They don't want to turn the ball over. They just get up and they bash. And now over the last couple of weeks, they played the Broncos up in Suncorp on a relatively good night, and they played the Roosters on a good day down at Central Coast, and they got absolutely dusted.
They get found out on a dry track, don't they?
Yeah. So
because there's not much there's no creativity through the middle.
Well, this will suit them. I reckon they'll get into a bit of a bash fest, but I still like the Bird Gang in this.
Blake Laurie, DeBellin.
They've got their identity now, the Manly, and their identity is on that right edge with Olakwatu and Kohler, the Juice.
He's a gun.
Bro, they're young.
Is he coming at Amon or Ben Hunt?
Nah, Benny Hunt. So
Benny Hunt's a good defender.
Yeah, but Benny Hunt, and they'll have who's flowing in at centres for him for Moses Sully.
Moses Mbai.
Oh yeah, there you go. So he's going to be. He's got Moses. It'll be Benny Hunt.
Moses
Mbai. Yeah, they'll be coming up against Olakwatu and Tolu Kola. So could be a long night for them too. They'll be coming at it. Ches is in good nick, man.
Yeah.
Ches is playing good footy. He's got a lot of confidence.
Yeah, but sometimes when they overcompensate for Olakwatu, go that other edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that Andrew Davies, he's a big body.
Yeah. He's fucking going really good for him.
That's what I'm saying. Like Olakwatu, when they put some real early pressure on him, I think a couple of times, he dropped like 2 or 3 balls in a row.
Yeah.
Then and it's wet conditions as well. So they'll be putting a lot of pressure on him.
They've got a lot of belief at the moment. They've got a lot of belief at the moment.
I like Manly.
Yeah.
But I think, Kieran Fraun, if he's on that left edge, I'll be trying to get it
Amone.
Yeah, Amone. And
Moga's on that side with Lomax.
And you're going to have like Billy Burns there.
Oh, third degree Burns.
Oh, 3rd degrees. So Billy Burns is starting back row. He's got Tarek there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got Tarek on the bench.
Yeah.
So he must be going all right. Or maybe they're just off Tarek.
Yeah, they're off Tarek, I think. He had 2 10 in the bins against the Broncos. So I think
out of 25 minutes, he was gone for 20. That's a record. That's got to be a record. That second one, he's lucky he didn't get suspended. He pumped that bloke.
Who'd he get? He got Reynolds first on the kick. Oregon, the kick, the pressure on Reynolds wasn't that bad.
I didn't mind that. The second
one was bad.
3rd man in. That's what they're trying to get rid of.
It was off a tap, eh? Shoulder
I was like, Tarek, what are you doing? Are you trying to get sent?
Yep. Next game?
Next game, Skips. Second game is Newcastle Knights taking on the Sydney Roosters. That's the late one on Friday. Newey at 380.
Newey, eh?
The line is 11.5. We got 43.5 as the over under their Skip.
Yeah, there's a few that...
I like Newcastle.
Yeah, there were a few Knights that are a bit banged up. Tyson Frizzell didn't finish the game. Dom Young didn't finish the game. So they've got a few that are questionable. Luke Keary and Hargraves are back for the Roosters. KP tried his guts out again against Manly for 30, 40 minutes while Newcastle were in the game until Manly blew them away.
They're resting Lindsay Collins?
Lindsay Collins got
suspended?
Yeah, suspended. He's out. What did he get?
I'll have a look for you.
What, for Origin?
No, well, concussion. So he got concussed in the Origin. He didn't play last week, and they still must be giving him another week.
Oh, it's good. I don't mind that Newcastle side. And it's up there.
I'll give you one. Right now, with the players that are available right now, Mace, is Joey Manu top 3 at 3 different positions?
Yeah. fullback, centre, and 5'8". He's just ridiculous, isn't he?
So go centre's obviously he's number one.
Yeah.
Fullback, you'd go probably Teddy 1, Trell 2,
Trell.
and him 3.
Yeah.
If he plays fullback.
Ponga's up there.
Ponga's, you know, because his Newcastle form hasn't been that, you know, I love Ponga, but his Newcastle form hasn't been that great because the team's not going well. But he had a mad series, so you could argue KP. The other one is 6. Like, it goes for me, it's Munster, Dylan Brown, and him.
Yeah. He's a guy.
I'd have him over Burton. I'd have him over Luai.
He could get 3 Dally M positional players this year. What about how does Jacob Saifidi come back and then come on the bench and his brother starts? That's just a bit weird.
Yeah.
David Clemmer, Saifidi, Frizzell, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, Mitchell Barnett. That's not a bad pack, man.
Newcastle, they're so weird, man.
They're biggest underachievers, I think, in the game. If they're
what's Adam O'Brien like? Is he the guy?
He's cut from the Bellamy cloth.
Yeah. Because it's like when I look at their team on paper, and I don't know anything about Adam O'Brien. I've never asked anyone, so it's a legit question.
No, he's a good bloke.
Yeah,
he's a really good bloke. As I said, like
the message isn't going through, though, is it?
It's not going through. It isn't. You know, like you got a big, aggressive forward pack, senior players in your forward pack, representative players in your forward pack. You got a decent 9. You got the 7's not too bad. You got Jaden Brayley back. You got Edric Lee, Dane Gagai, Kalen Ponga. You know, Highmore Hunt.
The team's solid, man, eh?
You know what I mean? You got Jacob Saifidi on the bench. Kurt Mann's a decent player.
Yeah, he's been playing good on that 13-14 role for him.
I think that you look at that and you go, I reckon Newcastle's a big chance, especially up in Newcastle against the Roosters.
Straight back in, we'll roll into the Saturday game skip. It's the Canberra Raiders backs against the walls, up against the mighty Vodafone Warriors. Call of the century by Stacey Jones to drop Reece Walsh, apparently. Don't know what the call is there, but...
Oh, because he's leaving?
That's why. We got $3.30, a juicy $3.30 for the Warriors. Scope 10.5 is the line. The over/under is 41.5 in Canberra.
I like the start because the Raiders just haven't been proven to be that team. Like, they're a hard read as well. They'll lose more games. They'll lose games rather than. Let me explain this properly. They lose games they should win.
Yeah,
like the game against the Dragons a couple of weeks ago. There's a few other ones. Yeah, the Knights.
Oh my god.
No, they beat the Knights. Hudson Young late. But
okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, but like that's the team they are, mate.
That
and
was
they should have
magic play from Hudson Young.
Yeah.
They're
a hard read.
Are the Warriors going all right?
Yeah, they had a crack. They've had a crack. They had a crack against the Tigers. They put up a good performance against Para. They were getting blown out, but they didn't throw it in like they did at the start of the year.
I think the Raiders have got more to play for. You know,
they do.
If they can get that, then they're going to be on the cusp of the 8. So they need to really go on a run.
Yeah, and they get Elliot Whitehead back, who's a big end. Kotrick comes in for Rups, who's suspended. Walshy on the bench. Chanel goes to fullback, and they've chosen. I actually like this too. I was having a chat with one of the boys about the Warriors, and look, I don't think that Dijon Arcee is it long term, but I like the fact that they're not going to just rush this Volkman in for the sake of it. Like people say, play Volkman because he's going to be the future, but. You can really do them some harm sometimes, these kids, mate, if you chuck them in.
They rush these kids in too early. They don't develop them. Then they throw them into these sharks, and then they just get eaten, 40 every week. And they lose their confidence. And so that's development and coaching. Yeah. You got to get these kids. You can't just throw them straight in. It's frustrating. That's why we're not developing any good halves.
It's a good call in that sense.
You know, we're developing all these. He's an Australian schoolboy. He's Australian under 19s, and it's like they get to first grade. And they're awful. You know, they're not awful, but they get one or two chances. They struggle to come from, schoolboys, play a couple of reserve grade games, and then you get straight into first grade. There's so many levels. There's such a different level from NRL to that next level, like to reserve grade and then flagging that. It's nowhere near it.
And
so you've got to nurture these young kids and cultivate them and teach them all the right things. And, it's hard for them, and don't throw them straight to the wolves.
Yeah,
you can't
because you can jag half a dozen games, eh? You can have a good six game period and then just go fuck.
Look at
my body sucks.
Yeah. He come out. He's the next Alan Lang. He's the next Andrew Johns. He's this that. It took him 2 or 3 years to finally find his feet at North Queensland to swap clubs, and then he goes now he's going all right. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the young Clifford kid, he was the same. Threw him into North Queensland, and then he plays bad. He's getting dropped.
Yeah.
Where was he at before? He's at North Queensland.
Even little Sammy Walker last year looked like it really had a toll on him at the end of the year, and that's why Robbo dropped him back to the bench because he was just getting the wear and tear, the body.
He's a little body, mate.
Getting
he's
bashed.
About 2 or 3 preseasons.
Yeah, he's probably a year away. Sammy Walker, I reckon he's going to be fucking elite.
He will be because he just plays football.
Yeah.
He just plays off the top
and he's in a
of his
good
head.
system.
Yeah,
Robbo will look after him, make sure he gets it right.
Yeah. And he's been really good with him. He's the best. He develops players. and young men.
All right, well, you're both obviously taking the Warriors then, so we'll move on.
I am Warriors with the start, believe it or not.
Yeah, nice.
Give me the 10.5.
Saturday, 5:30 at Bluebet Stadium. You got the Panthers taking on the Cronulla Sharks. Skip, $4.10 for the Sharks is a big price. The line is 12.5. Over under is 40.5.
Yeah, I think it's right. The points are about right as well. I think this is a statement game for the Penrith. This is a type of game over the last couple of years where the Penrith have really flexed their muscles, so they'll get everyone back. They're well rested. It reminds me, a couple of years ago when they were going on that run and people were talking about, like, teams like the Raiders would come up. You remember the Tarpany-Crichton incident?
Yep.
That game, people were like, yeah, they're a fucking a conditioned, like, older team. This is the sort of time when Penrith just go, fuck you, and
flex their muscle
on them. So Sharks are a genuine contender, man.
They are contenders.
I reckon they'll want to prove a point.
What about that rep round? The only person that didn't play in that starting 13 was Dylan Edwards.
Starting 17, bro. 17. Even Spencer Linu was number 18 playing in
Spencer was
star.
there, like Scott Sorensen. I'm not sure Mitch Kenny played. But
He was the Kiwi Scott Sorensen, no?
Yeah, he was in the Kiwi squad.
Kiwi squad.
I'm not sure where the Salmon was in Eisenhuth. Mitch Kenny.
Oh, sorry, you're right. So
a couple
Salmon's
of guys,
a part of their best 17. Kenny's a part of their best 17.
But that starting 13, just 13. Dylan Edwards.
Yeah.
Like everyone else was playing rep football.
Even cunts from Reggie's, like the fullback from he played for Fiji. His backup, yeah. Edwards' backup played in international round.
That'll be a good game, man. Because I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like on Saturday.
I reckon it's going to
out at Penrith. It's going to suck. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold.
This is going to be a defensive battle.
Yeah, you got Talakai and Crichton. You know what I like? Jesse Ramian.
He's fucking killing it, man. I've always been a big fan of Jesse, but his form over the last 3 or 4 weeks
out of place in a Blues jersey on that right edge. Trust me.
Yeah. He fucking
manhandles. He'd be so
bro.
hard to handle as a great defensive centre. I got nothing but praise for that kid.
I remember last year I was a little bit worried about Jesse Ramian because when the new rules come in and he just because he monsters people with their chest. Yeah. You know those centres that try to come back on the inside. He shows them the out to bring him back in, and then he dips late and then comes up.
He got caught a couple of times this year.
Been done, yeah. He's been suspended like 3
straight in the mouth.
Yeah. I was worried about him, but now he's got it down pat and
strong
with the footy. Disappointing to see Katoa go down for him. He was having a fucking really good year.
What happened, ACL?
No, he did his fucking Rocky Boulder.
But he's a great player.
He did get us a bit of anytime jam before he went down. So shout out to Sione.
Connor Tracy, it's not a bad film.
Yeah, he comes in for him.
Connor Tracy defensively is a fucking good centre, man.
He does a fucking good job, man, Connor Tracy.
He's good. Yeah.
Right,
man, they're a good team.
He would be. He's one of those guys. He'd be a fan favourite at Cronulla because you plug and play anywhere.
I think this will be a tighter game than you think.
I don't know. I've got a feeling this is a statement game. But and with regard, I'm not talking like fucking 40. I can see a 20,
it'd be like a 28-12,
maybe a 24-6, maybe something like that where. Cronulla just drag a try,
fair
and
point.
then Penrith win like 24-6, 28-6 or something like that.
The next game will be good.
All right. Yeah, this is probably the game of the round. South Sydney taking on the Melbourne Storm, Skip, at Accor Stadium in Sydney. It's pretty even money. You get $2 for South. The line is just the 1.5. The over-under is 41.5.
Nick Meaney's fullback.
Nick Meaney at the back.
If you weren't watching the start of the show, you probably have a fair idea where I'm going here. I'm on South.
I'm on South, big time.
South, yeah. At home, they started at 2:30. Congrats if you got that early.
I mean, I know they got a great system, but look at this back line: Nick Meaney, Dean Iramia, Marion Seve, Justin Olam, Tyron Wishart.
Yeah,
there's your back five.
And it's not Rocket Rod either.
It ain't Rocket Rod. It ain't
Quadzilla
Quadzilla Rod.
Yeah, see, that's the difference from the last couple of years. Yeah. Most I've said that Melbourne have always had that Nico Hines on the bench, or 2 years before that it was Pappy, or 2 years before that it was a mixture of Hughes.
Fox too. You had
it was a mixture of Hughes or Munster. They've always had that next guy up, or someone that's. I just don't like at the moment for them. It's Nick Meaney and Tyron Wishart, and this is respectfully to the boys. I like them as players, but they're just. They haven't had enough. They haven't had long enough in that system for me. Yep. They'll be way better for the run next year. But I have a feeling
still got a good forward pack.
I have a feeling we could see a little Melbourne Storm slide, and this pains me to say because I love the boys.
But look at it,
and they're going to be off me because they love the skip.
Totola, Nichols, Cook, Kaloamatangi, Jaira, Cam Murray. You know what I mean? Like that's a
fucking good team.
That's a fair balanced pack. Then you got Big Tommy coming off the bench.
South.
With Willie is Very underrated.
I love Havili. I said,
Moali,
Mace,
he's a good young
Mace,
kid.
I said this a couple of weeks ago on the show as well. In 2013, when you remember playing us at Manly when we had like had like grouse team with like Gifty, obviously, Chalk and all them. You know who was gun for us that year, bro? Joey Nullavelle and Richie Fast off the bench.
Animals.
And that's Hamer Sally and Havili give me those vibes coming off the bench. For,
and then you got Cody Nikarima. He could just fit in anywhere. Like he's a good player. He just needs to find his feet. He's been there for 4 weeks now, so there's no real excuses. You know, look at the bench that Melbourne's putting out: Jordan Grant, Alec McDonald, Tui Kamakamika, Grant Anderson. You know, I mean, like as I was saying, like the last 5 years, you're probably going to have a rep player on that bench.
Yeah.
You know, they've still got a fair pack. You know, you got Bromwich, Harry Grant, Sofa Solomona, Kafusi, Kenny Bromwich, and Josh King. Where's the cheese?
Suspended for spraying the ref.
Oh, you got suspended for spraying the ref?
Yeah,
3 weeks.
All he did was call him a fucking cheat. Is that it?
Yeah, we went
so
over that.
Sensitive.
I got a little bit passionate about that last week.
So sensitive, but
yeah,
they get the right little entitled refs. Shut up,
Andrew G.
God,
you retired. Didn't you play front row for the Broncos in 2000?
I retired him. I love GG's a man.
Fuck, he was a gun, eh? Fuck, their team was so good, bro, the Broncos.
Mate, when I played them, I was a young 19-year-old. They had Petro, Webkey, Johnny Plath, Prittis was like the hooker, Gordon Tallis.
Prittis was a nugget too, eh?
So he was the hooker for Australia at that time. Gordon Tallis, Brad Thorne, Tony Carroll.
Yuck.
That's who I had to take kickoffs. It was awful. And I think then Dane Carlaw, Brad Myers, Mick DeVere,
right.
Lockyer,
Dell,
Kevin Walker's, Lottie, Wendell, Lockie. Victor, and I think Tunzel was in the centres, and their bench was like the Dane Carlaws, Brad Myers, and Harvey Howard, the big Harvey Howard was just walking along. I was just like, and it was unlimited interchange. So these guys were just walking up and down the fucking sideline and just interchanging whenever someone was on a kick chase. Get off, on, bang, bang. I was like, fuck this. That was I think it was my 5th game in first grade.
That's awful.
This is terrible. And they ended up winning the comp easy. It was just like, it was brutal. Then they changed the interchange to 12 because they would just, they would come off but they'd just keep walking up and down the sideline. And I'll be like, that's Petro, that's Gordy, there's Webkey, there's Thorne. And they're just massive.
Brad Thorne, man.
Lockie was fullback.
He's one of the
Kevin
more
Waters was 5'8".
Rugby union, rugby league.
Sports star. He's a top 5 best Australian, New Zealand sports stars of all time.
Yeah, easy.
He was dominant.
Dominant is the word. Dominant is the word. Key word.
Yeah. All right, Mace. We may as well start with you here. Bulldogs taking on the Gold Coast Titans. Titans are outsiders at $2.45. You get plus 4.5 at the line there. The over/under is 41.5. How do you think your boys do against the Gold Coast at CommBank?
Yeah, I think we get them. I think we were unlucky last week. We just got beaten by, like Latrell and Cody. They were class. I mean, and as I said, like Totola was outstanding. The middles were outstanding, but we played a good brand of football. You compare what we played last week compared to round 4 or 5.
You've come a long way, for sure.
Come a long way, you know what I mean? Like Marshall King's been playing outstanding, our back 5. I think Flanagan probably played his best game of the year.
Yep.
He was digging into the line more. His kicking game was good. Birdo's kicking game was outstanding. Jake Avarillo's really found his place at fullback.
Yeah, he's a fullback.
He's a fullback. He's just a footballer. We just had to find out where he was. You got Declan Casey, the young kid, Carraz, Adokar. Like Max King's been outstanding for us. Paul Vaughan's putting good numbers up. Tavita Pangai Jr.'s been playing outstanding. Like he's been leading the way there and just running hard. You know what I mean? Like he's just getting the ball, not even worrying about offloads until he throws a few people off his hips. Then he gets that offload. Fatala Mariner's been outstanding. Joe Big Smoke and Joe Stimson's been playing good. They've been going all right. Corey Waddell on that left edge. It's not bad. I think we should be able to...
Have you seen the chat around Pangai and Tino's?
They'll be going at it. Hey, Pangai will be going at it at Fodawaker, at Fafita, at Big Tino. They'll be going at it. So I think they'll all back to Big T up. If he's going, he needs a backup. He needs Vaughan having his back. He needs Corey Waddell. He needs Max King having his back. You can't do that shit by yourself because that forward pack, Isaac Liu, he's won 3 premierships. He's played for New Zealand. Fodawaker's played for Queensland. Fafita he could possibly destroy the whole team by himself. That's the sort of shit he's got.
My X factor.
Bo Firma and Tino. That's a fair pack.
We love both
they're just underachievers.
Anytime jam.
They're just underachievers. So we just need to play the footy that we have been playing, and then just go out there and just lead Pangai will lead from the front. He just needs a lot of help.
Jaden Campbell's back on the bench
you don't think Tino's going to be going out there going, we just stop Tino. We just need to stop T, and then everything else will fall into place. Fafita, Isaac Liu, like Fodawaker, they'll be all thinking the same. Like who's going to destroy us? There's only one guy out there who could single-handedly destroy us, and that's Big T. So he needs some help. He just needs to keep leading from the way. Plays with big minutes. His defence has been good. He's improved so much. His discipline, everyone was worried about his discipline this year. I reckon he's given away probably maybe 6 or 7 penalties all year. That's
it's been a lot
great.
Yeah.
That is great. So, hey, I'm always going to back us because I think we're just playing a decent brand of football. I think
playing at the Panthers really settled him down, eh? Yeah. When he came away from the Broncos, he had a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He went to Penrith.
He doesn't have that anymore.
I think he just was, really bought into their system. And to the Dogs, to be fair, he had a little brain snap in a trial of all things.
Yeah, when he went
Sharks with Royce Hunt, and then he sort of just calmed down again after that.
I think he just knew that it was just,
he's going to go loose. I reckon he's going to go loose this week.
As long as he goes crazy, and legally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just don't come out of the line and be crazy, or just do stupid shit. Like he's really, really toned it down, but he's running hard, man. He's coming off that back fence with absolutely no fear, and that's scary.
I'm worried about the Dogs. I don't like them as favourites, Jacko.
Yeah,
I don't like it when teams. I don't like it when teams like this are favourites. That's what scares me.
But that's how bad they think at the time, right?
Yeah, true.
Like that's bad. We just went through that whole team. You got what? You got 6 rep players.
Yeah.
We got none.
Yeah.
We got Birdo.
Yeah.
I want Birdo to put one. What about their commentators? All they want is like torpedoes.
Yeah.
Mate, end over end is a lot more specific. You got to get these cage kicks in. I want to see
the right timing.
The timing in that, like that kid can kick. Oh my
fuck,
goodness.
man, he could be an NFL punter.
I would if I was his. I don't want him to leave the NRL,
management.
but if I'm his manager, I'm like, let's go over.
Plan,
Let's go over and just see how far you can kick one of these fucking pigskins. Like Uncle Rico.
Yeah, throw
it over those mountains.
You got me to it. You knew it was coming.
Oh, shit.
Who you got, Skip? You're going to go to the Gold Coast?
Yeah, I'm going to the Titans with a start.
What are they?
4.5 too much against the Dogs.
What are they paying? What's the Gold Coast?
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't bet on the game.
No,
but like if you, because we always pick our line, so I'm going to. If I'm smacking a line with the Skip on a Sunday, I'll take the 4.5.
I was smacking lines with Skip on a Sunday. All right, last game of the round, Scope. We'll start with you here. It is the Sunday 4:00. Cowboys, big favourites up against the West Tigers. They're giving you 19.5 for the Tigers. Yeah. Over under is 44.
Is it up north?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They're going to do a number on them.
So all the boys are back. All the boys are back.
Beautiful weather. Get your shirt off, all you pasty boys. Gardner, get your shirt off. Get some rays in here.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for the Tigers, unfortunately. I love the Tigers.
We just copied. Pizzling all year, haven't they?
Cowboys are solid at home. 4:00 in the afternoon. Hopefully the weather's a little bit better up there because they play some enterprising footy. 20 is not enough.
Jackson Hastings is playing lock.
Yeah, he played last week. He was a bit
I don't
clunky,
like that at all.
Dewey was good at 6 though.
Good, yeah.
We were saying last week, mates, they've just got to fucking bite the bullet and just Brooks is done. Like I rate Brooks. I think Brooks will be better at another team. Jackson Hastings at halfback and Dewey at 6.
He's a 7.
Yeah.
Put him at lock. What do you think here? Like Steve Georgalis back in the day. If you like Steve Georgalis back in like 1992 playing for West.
He played with my dad.
On his back, and then
he played with my dad in 97.
He could play 6, he could play 6, 7, and then he'd have the 13 on his back.
Fuck, you get
George
throw some names out.
And, I just think they need to bite the bullet. Jackson Hastings, he'd be like, why am I going up against Taumalolo? That's just not fair.
George Arliss against Taumalolo.
I
think George Arliss is on the staff at the Cowboys now.
No, he is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
I think he is. No, he's been going good.
Yeah,
Tommy Gill.
He's a good fellow, George.
Luciano was playing prop.
He was there when we were Manly.
We were there, yeah. It was great.
He's a giggle.
Mate, they've got the team that they could really go to town.
Yeah.
And
40.
this
I wouldn't be surprised.
This is 40. That game where they don't forget either 2005 grand final. This is that replay, and it's always a rivalry game. And Tigers will be up for it, but they don't have the class to beat them.
I got my boy. I love a revenge game. Luciano would do a fucking number.
And
Luch, hopefully he plays on the edge because if
playing
named him a front row. Hopefully they play front row.
What do you do?
They'll move on the right.
They play Tommy Gilbert at front row sometimes.
I like Tommy Gilbert.
Yeah. So hopefully they play Luciano on edge and he crosses for
I just think he can play anywhere. He could just he could do all the tough stuff in the middle and then he can just blend out to the left edge or right edge. Like he's just one of those forwards. It doesn't matter what, you don't have to play left or right edge. Just put him in the middle, defend, you can swap. The players are interchangeable now. That's what they need to learn how to play. Just because you don't play right side, back row. Play both sides. Play in the middle. Understand the game. You know what I mean? Like that's what I try and do with these young forwards, with the Bulldogs, like 17, 18, 19-year-olds. Don't just fit yourself to the right side because you're a right arm carry and your left arm palm, right foot. Carry the ball in their other hand. Have the skill set to play everywhere. Play in the middle. Get your legs in the middle. Understand marker play. Understand numbers. Count numbers. All this kind of stuff. So guys like Luciano, he probably understands the game. He doesn't sit on the left edge. The reason why everyone started doing that structure because Hoffman was the left back row in Melbourne in the early 2000s and he was nailing that line all the time. Everyone go, oh my God, it works. Then it took the football out of guys. They started playing, you got to play left edge, you play right edge. Just
become decoy runners. Yeah, lead runners.
What I mean? You got to be able to play anywhere. If you're a young kid out there, if you're a young kid out there, play every single position in the forwards. Play front row, play in the middle, play right side, play left side, play lock, play wherever you want. Just develop yourself as a young player because you don't get to first grade and they just go, I can't play left because I'm a right arm carry. They'll be like, get out of the club. You know what I mean? Like, develop yourself. And that's where from 15 to 20, you got to develop all these skills, So being in development now, developing these young kids, that's what they're really lacking. I can only play right side because I can pass. I can play left to right passing. These halves are even doing that. I can't play left side because I want to play left side because I'm right to left passing. Spiral. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you got to play, mould your game off Joey Johns, Cooper Cronk and JT. You know what I mean? If you're a young half, do that. Don't just play one. This is the coaching side of things as well. As a 12-year-old, they just put them on a right edge. They put them on the right. You're a right side half, and then you're a left side half. Fuck, mate. How are you going to develop these young kids into playing eyes up football when they see only one side of the field? Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
And you get comfortable and you get used to it. So you end up liking it, and then you go over. And you go over to the other side.
And you're not used to it.
You go like, you're starting to fucking seize up a little bit. It's so weird.
Man, it is so weird. And I only see it now. I'm just like, why are you kids? Why?
Took me a while to get used to Ches on the right.
Mate, it does.
He let me know about it too.
You got to get,
mate, that's not good enough.
Tick all the boxes. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Mace, you're a man of your word. Wore the jersey. So all those people in the comments can shut your mouths. He's here. He's worn it. See you next week, baby. YKTR Sports Show. Signing out. Skip a scope. OG, Mace,
see you guys.
Lukey in the background. Jacko. Peace.